Hey guys, you're watching the Best Damn Comic Show, first episode of 2020. Welcome back. Hope you missed us.
Hope you guys had a great holiday season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know.
Christmas,
I know
Hanukkah,
I did. Yeah,
Festivus.
all that. It was good
New
holiday
Year's.
season. Yeah, comics ended up bing bang. You know, now you look at what's coming up. It's a lot of stuff coming up this year from everybody.
What's the big storyline that we're looking forward to? Because I know stuff is going down, and we're gonna launch something.
I mean, with Marvel, Donny Cates with Thor, which #1 was phenomenal. I mean, Jason Aaron taking over Guardians of the Galaxy after Donny Cates set it all up, but cleaned it up. You got.
What would you say was the biggest storyline?
I mean,
Absolute Carnage has got to be the big overarching.
Actually, honestly, I would say the House of X and Powers of 10.
Okay.
That had to be the biggest thing, at least for Marvel. You know, just the X-Men coming back to full force. You know,
Fair enough.
You know, being the X-Men we know. That storyline was insane. I mean, just look at the number of printings they've done. I mean, there's a second print coming out this week for, I think, for Powers #6. So when did the series end? Like 2-3 months ago?
A few months, yeah. Absolutely.
And there's a second print coming. Yeah, I guess the reorders are still there for these books.
I mean, people want to read it.
It's good stuff,
people
man. I mean, X-Men back in full force.
We had a lot of great movies come out.
A lot of great movies,
A lot of great movies. Finally had that first Avengers Iron Man saga, if you will. That's really what it was the Iron Man saga.
I picked up Disney
Wrapping
Plus,
up.
so I've been playing it. Like, I've been watching Endgame like over and over again. It's so freaking good. I got to see Captain Marvel. Good movie. She can act. She is so boring. Oh my God! But it was. You know,
I mean, that's not. She won an Academy Award, so she
but not for Captain Marvel.
But not,
yeah.
Maybe not for the superhero stuff. You know.
No, true. 2019 was a good year overall.
I walked in today while we were setting up. Somebody told you that when the X-Men are launched in the MCU, they're gonna change the race of the main X-villain and the leader of the X-Men, if you will, Professor Charles Xavier, to African Americans, as opposed to Magneto, Holocaust survivor, and then Professor X, who's, you know, we got an English guy playing him in the movies. I feel like in the cartoons he's always had an English accent, but he was born in New York City, lived in New York. I feel like he's got English parents. It's just some weird bald guy that could read your mind that sits in a chair with a lot of powers. The reason behind it is, more than anything, like we know, Stan Lee was a Jewish man, and most of the guys that started Marvel Comics were
DC,
New York City.
Most of the guys back in the day, they were Jewish creators.
New York City, you know, children, probably first, second, third generation children of immigrants that were impacted in one point or another by the Holocaust and World War II. There's a connection there. So that was the allegory kind of used for the anger with Magneto. But the X-Men at that time was kind of also used as a commentary on racial injustice in the U.S. at the time.
The original X-Men, I don't think that it was meant to be that the giant size. That's when they brought the diversity into the group, where you had your Wolverine Canadian, you had your Apache.
I'm not talking about the diversity deal, but the X-Men themselves was people are different and people are being attacked and discriminated against because they're different.
Yeah.
And this was a way to do it at a time when mainstream society, without, like, if you try to put out a comic in 1964 where everyone, if you had an Asian guy, you had a black guy, you had a Latino guy, you had a Native American guy, it wouldn't have gone. It wouldn't have flown.
It would have not flown.
It wouldn't have made any money at all. You know, this is kind of the way it was at the time, and it was a way of doing that without being so overt, which is very creative. But now we're at a time where somebody thinks it's a good idea to change those characters to African Americans because of where we're at in society nowadays. They think it's more relevant. This is all me talking. This is all hearsay.
There's just a lot of rumors.
So far, we trusted Disney. That's a pretty big, bold move to make. You risk alienating your older readers. And this is, the interesting about this is that I've noticed, at least in the nerd and geek culture community, is even your like black readers, when you change the race of the character, they don't like it either because they grew up reading with a certain way either. It seems to be like across the board, like people just They would rather have new characters created.
And I get that from, I've talked to a couple of Black creators that I've known for 10, 20 years, 30 years now. The feedback I get from them is that they're not happy. I mean, is it necessary to change? Like you said, why not push a character, build a character?
I mean, I could see it this way. Like, to a certain extent, you're taking away the ability for someone to make a new character. Christopher Priest, for example, he makes a Black Xavier. He doesn't make any money off of that.
No.
Because it's still Charles Xavier.
Right.
You know.
No, there's a lot of.
It's not his character, you know.
There's a lot of that is irrelevant to the story.
In the movies, Aquaman is a half Samoan, half Polynesian guy, right?
Right.
In the comics, he's still Arthur Curry. He's still
yeah.
blonde-haired. He still wears that stupid costume. You know, that hasn't changed in the print version. So I
don't think people want that changed.
I highly doubt. What I'm saying is I highly doubt in the print version it would change. But instead of having a now close to 100-year-old Magneto whose powers come about because of being in Auschwitz, you know, you have some guy who's still gonna be older, you know, a guy in his 70s or 60s that was part of like the, you know, the crack epidemic in the early 80s, late 70s, or you know, the pimps and whatnot in the inner cities kind of deal.
I don't. At the end of the day, for me, it's all about, does it make sense and it's gonna make money? Because again, we're dealing with entertainment.
Right.
We're not dealing with real life here. Reality is, whatever you do in these comic books, because the print run is so low, doesn't change somebody's view. Nobody's gonna come in and buy more books. Nobody's gonna spend more money because this character is so and so and so and so and so and so. In my opinion, and what I've seen, you know, for the last 10, 20 years, every time there was changes that didn't flow with not the norm, but with your market, because it's a set market. It hurt your pocketbook. Marvel turned North Star gay. The response was huge.
Right.
It was huge. People were going. I mean, that book sold like nuts. You know, nobody opposed to it because it came out at a time where it was relevant.
It was also the peak of the AIDS epidemic.
It was relevant, and the numbers were strong. Comic books at that time were selling great numbers. Nowadays, your numbers are low, you know, and nobody cares. You have Bishop. You have so many other characters that are just peripheral characters that could be brought up to the forefront.
You got Storm, you got Queen.
got Storm, you got why is there the need?
You got the time to build the Storm, T'Challa.
T'Challa, I mean, a lot of the stuff has to make sense, and
it's just, you know, TBD. All right, Cat, what you got this week?
There's a torch passing this week from Tom King to James Tynion on Batman. It looks interesting. James Tynion, for me, he's hit and miss. I mean, some of his stuff's good, some of his stuff is not, but I'm stuck on Batman, so I'm gonna read it. You know, you got Danny Miki, I think, is doing the artwork. It's gonna be a good-looking book. 4 mutant books on this Wednesday, and they all look good. X-Force, New Mutants, Fallen Angels, Excalibur, they're all coming together, and I know it's a 5-year plan, and some of these books will go away and you'll have replacement, but again, it shows you, because of what the theme of the mutant universe is now, they're on their own nation, so it's building. So it makes sense to do all this. So after, I guess, the 5-year plan, they'll settle into the new direction. But they're worth reading. You know, you got Immortal Hulk, number 29. I believe we're going towards that switch from Immortal to just Incredible, I think, or whatever they're going to call next, because he can change it during the day now too, so it's not just night. You got Star number 1 coming in, and she's one of those Infinity Stone wearers.
Yeah.
This book should be hot this week. Donny Cates, Venom. I mean, it should be second nature, you know. I mean, you got the whole Spider Island storyline, and Null is coming. Don't leave Venom on the side, because it's going to surprise you with some stuff.
As for variants this week, got some pretty cool covers, a lot of cool covers, so it's a little difficult for me to kind of narrow down, but you know, I pick what I like. So Marvel Avengers Thor number 1 by Woo Chul Lee.
That's the video game book.
It's a video game.
It's a video game. It's the Gamerverse book.
Okay, well there you go.
So who knows what the numbers on that book is gonna be?
It might be a tiny print run. This is also, it's an incentive ratio variant, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But it's just a really nice cover. Ruin of Ravencroft Carnage one shot by Ariel Olivetti. I feel like he was one of the first guys to really use technology for his art. Like, it's not hand drawn. This is all like using computer stuff.
Right.
And you know it's him, like right when you see it. Whenever you see any of his panels, you know it's him. Like the interior.
No, there's something about he's very recognizable.
Yeah,
very recognizable.
And it's kind of, for me, it's kind of a throwback because all of his guys seem to be like really big and thick. Like they have this huge kind of veiny, and the color scheme as well. So I'm a big fan of this. And who knows what's going to happen inside this one-shot book? I don't even know who Ravencroft is.
Well, Ravencroft is the.
Is he the leader of the cult?
No, Ravencroft is the equivalent of Arkham Asylum in the DC universe. It's a asylum basically.
Got it.
So that's what it is.
Okay.
So they criminally insane, they get thrown there. But again,
feel free to roast me in the comment section for not knowing that.
Yeah. But yeah,
never been a Spider-Man guy.
There's gonna be a bunch of one-shots coming out with this Ravencroft, especially after the Absolute Carnage storyline.
Right.
And it's gonna play a bigger factor, I think, down the line when Null hits Earth. So who knows?
I got another incentive ratio variant. This one is star number 1 by Valentina Reminar. I've never heard of her, but it's a really cool looking cover. And we've talked about these. Have you heard of her?
No, and I'm noticing a lot of names on this incentives and open order variants. Like, I've never heard of these guys.
I mean, it's a cool way to get your first cover out there.
Yeah.
It gives it value right off the bat because it's rare. Star Wars Rise of Kylo Ren number 2, also incentive variant, sold out by Jody Muir. I always like to, I think.
Low numbers on these Star Wars books, I tell you, because that Kylo Ren number 1 sold out, the regular cover, they're doing the second print. The variants on it, so and again, with the way they portrayed him in the movies, because they do run parallel, I mean, he's not around anymore. Like, God knows how these books are gonna fly, you know what I mean?
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. And like we talked about it earlier, Disney does some TV shows with them, like in the past. We never got to really talk about. We never see the Knights of Ren in the theater. Like we don't see
anything about his childhood. I mean,
exactly.
Han
so there's
and
a
Leia,
lot
so
of there's a
much.
big chunk of missing stuff that we might get on Disney Plus or something. So something to look out for. And it's a cool cover. Anyways, that's gonna do it for us this week. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Smash that like button. Leave comments. Let us know what you think. All right, guys. Well, next week starting a new show on Fridays. Here's a sneak peek.
Oh, cutter! Oh, with the cover, 1, 2, 3, it's over. I wrestle with all my He-Mans.
$90. You owe Cat $90.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh!
Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Smash that like button. Leave comments. Let us know what you think. Cat, take us away.
I read a report that this past year in numbers on comics, actually there was an improvement. So reality is we need you guys to go in every week, buy these books, buy print, support it on a weekly basis. A lot of good stuff coming off from everybody this year. And like I said, 2020 should be a better year than last year. And last year was good, but go in there, support your local comic book store, support print. See you guys next Wednesday.